Right guys, we have details about the iPhone 14s, we have a code name for one of the models, and also we have details on the design almost being finalized. And so let's delve into it, but first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so this information's coming from Shrimp Apple Pro, who's been pretty credible in the past, and so I do think this information can be somewhat trusted. Right, so to begin with, they give us the code name for the regular iPhone 14 Pro, which is D73. Now, to be fair, this is not groundbreaking news because it's a code name after all that does not mean a lot to us. And also in the past, we've learned the iPhone 13 Pro's code name was D63. So this going up by 10 for the iPhone 14 Pro really is not that surprising. And so let's move on to the more exciting news, and that's regarding sample mockups being built as soon as next year by Apple suppliers. Now again, based on previous iPhone leak cycles, this does make sense because of course, in Jan we do see mockups of these new iPhones. And so yes, I do think we should see suppliers make early CAD models of the iPhone 14 series, and this should give us a rough idea on the design. And also the source says Apple's almost finished finalizing the design for these new iPhones. And that's exactly why I found the renders by Jon Prosser a little hard to believe, since of course Apple is still experimenting with the iPhone 14 design, and so what Jon showed us was definitely not the final version. And so what could change with the iPhone 14 design as they enter mass production? Well, we've heard about these circular buttons apparently being cancelled on the iPhone 14s. Now yes, I know that might be a bummer for those who are big fans of the original iPhone 4 design, but to be honest, I do prefer the buttons we have today. They're much easier to click because of the larger surface area, so I do think Apple keeping those for the iPhone 14s make a ton of sense. As for the changes that might not make it with the final version, I don't think we're going to see a flat camera bump like Jon shows us in his renders. That seems completely unrealistic considering that Apple's increasing the camera bump every single year. And also do remember that with the 2022 iPhones, we could see periscope zoom, which is going to be a massive component within the device. And so yes, I don't think we're seeing a flat camera bump with the iPhone 14 series. I've also expressed how I'm skeptical about the Holepunch in my previous videos, and that still stands. I still find it hard to believe that Apple's going to go from a smaller notch to a Holepunch within the space of a year. That just seems very un-Apple-like, since of course Apple rarely changes the front of the iPhone. I mean, take for example the iPhone 10 notch, that stayed till the iPhone 12, and obviously minimizing design changes helps Apple lower the manufacturing cost of these devices, and also makes them more efficient to of course produce. And so yes, ideally Apple wants to keep the notch around for a few more years of the iPhone, and then of course they can decide to go notchless or of course use a hole punch. And yes, I know the rumors have been saying the Pro iPhones might only see the hole punch and the regular iPhones might get a smaller notch. But to be honest, I kind of find that hard to believe, since of course for the last few years, the front of the regular and Pro iPhone has been near identical. I mean, if Apple really wanted the Pros to look much better on the front, they could have given the smaller notch to the 13 Pros and kept the same size notch on the regular iPhone 13s, but they did not do that. And so that does suggest that Apple ideally wants to keep the front of these devices the exact same. And so yes, I do think as we get closer to the launch, many of the design changes we saw in the renders by Jon Prosser might not see the light of day. And so do remember guys, temper your expectations. I really would not be surprised if the iPhone 14 series isn't that major of a redesign. But anyways guys, tell me your thoughts. Do you think the iPhone 14 series is actually going to be a drastic redesign? Anyways, thank you for watching guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the card above on details regarding the M2 iPad Pros. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya peeps.